दिलाता ना
Good evening, Paramji. Good afternoon. 3:30. Good afternoon.
అది వెబినార్ ఆన్లైన్ లో చెప్తాను. చూసాను ఇక్కడ మనసు క్లాస్ క్లాస్ ఇంకా స్టార్ట్ అవ్వదు.
ఎందుకు అవి చూసుకోమంటే now tadi pagi pergi tadi. Tadi pagi pergi sama enggak pagi.
Please mute audio. All participants, please keep your audio unmute. Some its sound is here. Please keep your video muted. Please follow the meeting protocol.
నువ్వు ఈ కోసం నేర్చుకున్నావా చెప్పు డాడీ అది ఎందుకు చేస్తున్నావు డాడీ
మనం చూద్దాం.
ఏంటి
మనం
నీ ఫ్రెండ్సా చూస్తున్నావా మీరేం నీ వీడియో కాల్ చేస్తున్నావు ఇలా
Good afternoon to one and all present here. I will ask everyone to please keep themselves muted for the conversations that will be discussions that will be having today. Uh, you will get your chance to speak your doubts. If you have any doubts mid session, you will be free to answer, question them in the group chat where Jaspreet sir will be there to answer all your questions. Please wait for at least 15 minutes of the session to begin before you ask questions. Uh, we will always have two experts with us. One will be giving the session, and the other will be there to solve any doubts you have through the group chat. This is the first day of the session. You might expect, you need to expect that some questions or some doubts will not be answered, and you will be asked to wait for that particular topic to come up during the FDP session. Please keep yourselves muted at all times. If you have any doubts, we can wait after the session gets today's session gets complete and today's topics are completed. Uh, Today we will Sandesh sir will be basically talking on what is IP, why is IP important, how IP leads to big money, and an introduction to patents. We will be dealing with patents more properly tomorrow, where all points will be covered. But today, just a small introduction will be given on IP, how IP affects our ecosystem, how IP affects research, how IP affects entrepreneurship, and a slight bit of introduction into what patents is, how to register, and that's all for today. But that's all that will be spoken for today. I just want to remind you all once again that the session will begin at sharp 4. The Sandesh sir is already online and Jaspreet sir is also. So you need not worry if you have any doubts while Sandesh sir is conveying the session. Please feel free to ask in the Zoom group chat that is present. All your questions will be answered there. Thank you. Please wait for 5 more minutes before we begin the session. We will start at sharp 4 today. Thank you.
నీకు అందుబాటులో ఉన్న ఫ్యాను నాకు అందుబాటులో ఉంది. నేను ఇక్కడ ఆన్లైన్లో ఉంటా. ఎలాగో నేను
Very good evening, Sandesh ji.
Very good evening, sir.
Sir.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay, nice. Sir, have you checked your volume, sir, Sandesh sir?
Yes, I have checked that. It sounds to be okay as of now from my end.
Okay, sir. Nice.
Am I audible clear enough?
Have you checked, sir? Have you checked once about slide sharing?
Okay.
Presentation sharing?
I'm sharing it now.
Yes, sir. Just once.
Okay.
Please check.
Right. It is disabled for this moment.
Disabled.
Yes.
I think Param, you have to give access to the sir.
If the students are not reachable, they are not wanted, then how one can give them up?
Good afternoon, one and all present here. I'd like to invite Raja sir. Hello, sir.
Good evening, sir. Good evening. Good evening, all of you. Good evening.
I'd also like to invite Sandesh Agarwal sir to take over for today's session.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. Sandesh sir, can you also share the presentation? Share.
Yes, I'm doing it.
Yeah, that's great.
It is popping up a message that says host disabled, participant is screen sharing. So probably only host can do so.
1 minute. Please try sharing the screen now.
Okay. Yes, I'm able to do so. Thank you for that. I hope the screen must be shared with each one of you now.
Yes, the screen has been shared, Sandesh sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir. Perfectly all right.
Okay. I won't be putting it into a slideshow mode because it creates some sort of a lag in it, and thereby when I switch the slides, it won't be popping you in the similar way. So I will keep
fine,
it
sir.
this only. I hope it's visible fair enough. So majorly today what we will be discussing will include is as Param already told that what all IP is involves in itself, and apart from that then what all you can do to protect IP and how IP can be generated, and a bit more detail about what patent is and what all comes into patents and what all sort of things that can be protected through filing of a patent. So to understand all this, we can begin with understanding what an intellectual property is. So, which is something that can be created through a human mind based on his learnings, and as an output, it could be any sort of a product or a content, or it could be some sort of a visual depiction of something. Primarily, it consists of these three things only, and are being categorized in two different types of IPRs based on what it is and being filed accordingly. And to understand some of the examples that comes within this includes things like inventions, any of a brand name that you know of, any of the codings that we use for getting a process executed in any product. It could be songs, lyrics, or it could be any literature work in terms of choreograph or a book or any other content writing related things that is being used for one or the other purpose. To further understand what sort of examples comes into it, I've put in some visuals from some products, which will make it more understandable. As on say, the first example is from an Oppo mobile, wherein it was having a rotating camera within that, which could be twisted around say any side, so that it could be used for picturing almost say from anywhere or a 360-degree viewable capacity. Just below this, there is another figure of secret bracelet, which is used for used as a smartphone and can be the pictorial representation or the display could be put onto your arm itself and then be used for calling or any other purpose that you use your phone. Third example is from the financial industries, that is say that you use for authentication of any transaction. Just below this, there is an example of the book Concept of Physics by S.C. Verma. Say the right hand side, three more logos along with some written text from some of the companies or brand names that you may already be using. Likewise, say Airtel or Pepsi or Lay's. Some more examples from the intellectual property includes things like, say, these toothbrush in the first figure, wherein you can use a syringe-like pump to fill in toothpaste into it and can be used thereon. Just below this, there is an example of a fork that is also comprised of a small fan on its tip so that the food that a person is eating could be cooled as well by the press of a button being provided into it. Now, there's another example of a Pringles wherein chips being put into it are being put onto a hook so that those hook could be raised in order to get the Pringles out of this box. Some more examples are something like, say, washing machines, cars, again, books, and even robotics. So all these different products are being protected by one or the other IPs. At times, there are multiple IPs through which these products are being protected. And when we say being protected, it means that there has been filings made for those products based on what the person who has worked onto it considers it to be new when being compared with any of the existing arts, existing references or available references. And within a single product, as already told, that there is a multiple set of linkages, components, and utilities that it could be used for. We have to file it different applications accordingly to get it secured by all means. And this is the only way by which multiple companies secured their creations so that no other in that particular field dares to come into, dares to copy what they are already selling into the market. You may be using any mobile phone and you know of that each of the different mobiles that is available either from the same company or from a different company has got one or the other distinguishing element within those that is good enough for you to distinguish and easily make it out that yes, it belongs to this company and this particular model. And all such things that are there into it are something that is meant to be protected through one or the other IP. Now, what are intellectual property rights? So these rights are something which are meant for intellectual property itself and are given to a person who is filing into that particular jurisdiction or office or say country. So an intellectual property that you file with the government office is being protected only for that particular country, not beyond that, until and unless you yourself file into all different companies as well, different countries as well. And like any other rights, these are the rights which are being given to a person or an entity or a company or institute or college to secure what they are filing into that particular country's patent office or intellectual properties office. Now, why shall one protect the IP that one has created? There could be a number of reasons, but to list few of them, things like, say, it gives a clear message to anyone across the industry within the country in which you had filed for it that one shouldn't copy what you had created. And if at all that person wants to use it for one or the other way, then in that particular case, he has to first take a license for that IP and then thereafter use it, or else he could face court challenges and had to appear into the court, and then the fees or the expenses of that person who is trying to copy it will get enhanced to much greater extent. Apart from this, it also increases customers' confidence into any of these startups that is being based onto IP. Something like, say, the company like Tesla works upon, or say companies like Facebook, or say Apple or Samsung, the way they work for. It also gives the person right to exclude others from even exploiting the technology that that person has created. Say if the person has protected that technology and using it for manufacturing into their campus or somewhere, and in the case anyone else who tries to do so without taking permission is something that can be termed as a legal offense and could be challenged into the court. It also gives exclusive right over a certain duration, which depends upon the type of IP that you created. As different types of IPs, so each type of different IPs are being protected for a different duration. And those durations are what you are being given protection for by the government office where you had filed for those applications. It also opens doors for investment by many big companies who are willing to invest into what you had created or what they wanted to use into their company for enhancing the output of what they're already procuring or manufacturing into their place. Now, is there any reason to promote the IP that you had already, say, secured by one or the other way? The answer to this is yes, one should always promote what you had created for, or what you had taken protection for. Reason being, it enhances the quality of life as well as products in which they are being used. Overall, that's how each and every product that you see or use today has evolved over the time, because someone at some point of time has worked upon it and brought in some or the other advancements onto any of its prior versions, because of which you are seeing it into its today's shape. It is one of the major factor that gives you reasons for reasons for any country's economic growth as well, and could be a reason for any company's growth as well. Apart from all this, it could be a reason for creating new jobs and industries, bringing in new industries as well. And it is something, IP, intellectual property that you created, is something that has the potential to generate big money. Wherein some of the examples that I could cite based on what is available over the different resources is something like, say, a Nortel, which is into telecommunication business, is having a patent portfolio of more than 17,000 patents. And companies like, say, Apple, Microsoft, or Research in Motion are already paid more than $4.5 billion to have an access and use the technology that is there into those patents being owned by, say, Nortel. Apart from this, there's another example from Nokia, which was about to get bankrupt in 2012. Microsoft come to its rescue, wherein they buy almost the entire Nokia company, considering they will be owning too much of a Nokia patent that are into the mobile communication field. Though, while selling off all those patent portfolio, Nokia did kept few of the portfolios with themselves, and because of those sales, Microsoft as well as to the companies, it was able to come up with all sort of debt that was there onto it, and was also able to generate some profits. companies like say Texas Instruments and Kodak were the first companies to start filing a huge number of patents since the 1985. And there are some big companies today, but yes, they did start it off at some point in the past decades. Companies like say Google or Facebook and Apple, IBM, Uber. These are the companies who are investing heavily into filing of patents, on bringing in new technologies, on making sure that they are able to secure each and every tech that they are creating in-house or maybe brought in from outside as well. Now, companies wherein you see that different companies are having almost similar layout structures, but still there is something different within them. As companies like Ola and Uber, if you may have used it, you may see that they have got a same sort of an end result, same sort of a interface, but it's still kind of algorithm that they use behind for working of their products is totally different. By no means same, and that's how they are able to secure their IPs into this particular field. Now, what are the different types of IPRs? So, IP rights being provided by government to a person who is living into a particular country and is filing any application for getting the created IP being secured by that particular government office. Examples of it includes things like, say, copyright, trademark, design, patent, geographical indications, and trade secret. We will be discussing each one of these separately into coming days, and today we'll majorly be focusing on only patent, which is also a type of an IPR. Now, a patent is an intellectual property right that is being given to a person for the invention or the innovative product that a person has created. And it could be anything, something like, say, a product, a process, or a method, or a new solution to increase the efficiency of making of a particular product, or reaching of a particular product from one place to another. Or it could be something like coming up with a new composition that enhances the overall properties of the existing compositions used for any specific purpose. The time duration for which patent can be given protection to you for the application you had filed with the government office is around 20 years, and this time duration starts from the day on which you had filed it with the government office. Together with this, when you file for what you've created, it also bars or prohibits any other person who is filing exactly same and want to get it protected into their own name in any other country as well. The way it works is something like first come, first serve, wherein if you are able to file for something first in any country, then no other person living in anywhere in the world could actually get a patent onto that particular field where you had got a first application filed with the government office. And there are certain guidelines, certain requirements of the Indian Patent Office that must be fulfilled in order to let your application be approved. And in legal terms, we say it grant. Things like, say, it should be absolute novel. It should have one or the other inventive step. It should be non-obvious to those who know about it, who are from those fields, and could clarify that yes, what you are coming up with is very unique, and it is not something that anyone can come up with if at all that problem was being faced by that person. It should have certain industrial application. That means it should be giving enough reasons for a person to accept to industries to accept or to customers to accept what you're proposing by way of filing that application to be accommodated into any product or service any person avails. Here, absolute novelty means something like it should be new when being compared with any known available disclosures, references, videos, text, which could be written or should be accessible from anywhere. Now, some of the examples from the industries wherein we can say that yes, these items or examples could be filed for getting secured through filing of a patent. Includes things like, say, method or manufacturing of any product, or the entire product being manufactured at the end, or a subcomponent being manufactured at the end. It could be the entire machine or a machine component, entire apparatus, or an article, or just a fragment of that article or apparatus. It could also be something like any chemical compositions or medicinal compositions being used or produced by one or the other processes wherein the processes comprises something unique into it. Any computer softwares that are used along with the hardware devices and for some specific purpose. Something like, say, a software being used to trigger traffic lights being installed onto any road crossings. It could be examples of, say, the software being equipped into devices used to track any specific commodity or a person who is traveling from one place to another, or a car that is on move from one place to another, or to get a control or track of what sort of weight changes a particular commodity faces when it is moved from one place to another place. So more examples are things like, say, any of a computer hardware or accessories can also be secured through filing of patents. Any of advancements that comes into internet or in communication or by other means, something like, say, there was a time when Bluetooth wasn't there or infrared wasn't there, or say it was there but wasn't used into a mobile device. So making it compatible into a manner by which you could integrate it with the mobile phone is something that can be filed and secured through filing of a patent. Making of a jewelry, or the way it is being assembled, just different components are being assembled. Any of the makeup accessories that you see, or compositions that are being used in those accessories. Any musical instruments, the way they are being manufactured, or even at times the material compositions that are being used for any specific component of that particular musical instruments. Things like compositions of perfumes, things like any of the goods or articles that is being used for playing any game. Now, apart from all this, what can actually be secured through patent, there are multiple things which cannot be secured through filing a patent. Things like, say, which are obvious in nature, wherein it is just a combination of already known things, and what you are coming up with is something that is that can be thought of by anyone, and there's nothing unique into it. When per pupil from within those fields tries to see it or analyze it, it's very tough for any one of them to say that yes, you are coming up with something unique, new, and what you are coming up with is actually a copy or replica, or just bringing in 2 or 3 things which are already there into this domain, and you're just putting them together. Anything that was already there, but you are able to discover it by one or the other way. Things like, say, you are able to discover a new star or a planet or a sun, or say element which was already there but wasn't being discovered earlier. So things like these cannot be filed and secured through filing of a patent. Within this, what could be secured is things like, say, the tools, the machines that you use for, say, the kind of telescope that you may have designed in order to able to see beyond Earth boundaries, that is enabling you to see and figure out what else is there in this universe. Or things like, say, a process or mechanism being suggesting in order to analyze the entire composition that you're using and extracting any particular new element out of it, or extracting any element which is, say, new through any composition, is something that can be filed and secured through filing of a patent. Apart from this, say, if at all you come up with something like wherein you could propose and certain changes into any of an existing process being adopted for manufacturing or segregating, then in those cases you have you can file it for getting it secured through patent as well. Now, method of agriculture or horticulture wherein you are excuse me for a minute. Any of the process being adopted for proposing, say, a new method for doing agriculture or horticulture is nothing from the other way, like things wherein you could propose a tool shall I continue, or is there any issues to anyone? Because I see that few people have raised their hands for some purpose.
Sir, they cannot hear you. Please speak a bit louder.
Okay.
You should use earphone. You continue.
Okay.
Sir, just be a little louder for some time. We'll check. Otherwise, we'll see if earphones are needed.
All right. So any of a method that is being used for sowing of agriculture or horticulture is something that, again, cannot be secured through filing of a patent. But within this, what can be secured through filing of patent is the tools or machines that we use for doing or for the purpose of doing agriculture or horticulture. Any of an arrangement or rearrangements of known things that functions independently and putting them together is something that cannot be filed and secured through filing of a patent. Some more examples from the same field which are not being allowed by Indian Patent Office to be secured through filing of a patent includes like any mathematical formulas or any business methods being proposed for doing any business, algorithms being used for getting a task executed by some software or so, any new rule or method being suggested for playing any game. Within this is the articles that you use for playing game can be filed and secured through filing of patent. Ways by which different informations can be presented is, again, cannot be protected through filing of patent. Any of the inventions that relates to atomic energy or could be used for destructive purposes can also not be secured through filing of patents. None of the government into entire world gives permission for granting of such applications. any biological process being used for production or propagation of any plant or animal can again not be filed and secured through filing of patent. Now, some more examples as on to understand within a product that could be protected by filing of patent includes our from the figure, look at the tires that are there into it, and from the tire, the kind of spokes that are used into it, and it's a filter wherein it doesn't require air to fill into it, and is roughly 3 times much beneficial in comparison to any pneumatic tires. Within this, the way these tires are being manufactured, assembled, these spokes are being put in, the material compositions being used into it, and the process being used for manufacturing it or being secured by different applications. Now, apart from this tire, the multiple other components of this entire device or machine or vehicle are also being protected by different types of IPRs. Here comes another example from washing machines, wherein different principles of washings are being used in each of these devices and are being used into it or configured into it to be put into a shape of a product. And when being put into a shape of a product, are able to secure through filing of a patent application. In this, the first example is of a shaking washer, wherein this device could be opened from the middle by because of the spirals that it has. And once being opened, you can fill in water into it along with some washing powders and the cloths that you want to wash. Suppose that you can close it, and once being closed, you can shake it through your hand, and it could be used through this for washing off the clothes that you have put into it. Apart from this, it is being composed of battery to heat the water that is there that you put into it, and can easily be rinsed out once those clothes are being washed. Another example is of a swash washing machine, which uses hot air bubbles sucking through the openings that it has on its surface, and the clothes are being put into the black drum that you see, the openings that is there into it, and the hot air being sucked into it. And when this device is being rotated and is made to rotate, the hot air coming in, sucked in, is being allows the clothes that are being put into it to be washed. Third example is of a stain wand, that uses ultrasonic waves to remove the stains that are put onto the cloths by any reasons. And this is a device that is being used for removal of stains, wherein you don't require to wash the entire cloth. Instead, just remove the stains that are common for some reasons. And within this, the concept, the way different components are being put together or say assembled, is something that is being filed and secured by one or the other patent. Next example is of a Segway device, which could be used for, say, traveling across the streets anywhere. Within this device, the components, the different small components, elements being used together, the way they are being assembled, designed, manufactured, the way their molds are being used, are being protected through one or the other IPR. And with this, it's not just this company, but there are multiple companies as well which are into this domain and want to come up with one or the other similar technology using products, are also trying to get their IP secured so that they can bargain what they have and what this Segway company has in order to let them function into the market. Then this another example of Boston Dynamics, which is known for making robots which mimic exactly like humans or animals from which they are being copied. Within this, again, the way one component communicates with another component is something that is being protected. Also, things like, say, the way they are giving message to different components, to their surroundings, the way they are analyzing any obstacles in front of them, and then post that analysis, what sort of decision making it does in order to let it function in the way it was made for. Within this, again, the different machines that are being used to manufacture these could also be secured through filing of applications. The kind of leg designs that they have, the kind of face designs that they have, overall the entire structure, along with, say, the locking mechanisms or repairing mechanisms or understanding, figuring out what sort of repair it may require, all are something that is meant to be protected by one or the other. Right? Then comes another example from a company called Hillrom, which is known for manufacturing goods that are being used into hospitals. These beds are being equipped with all sort of sensors that you can think of and are being used to communicate with the patient as well as to the doctors or to the integrated app or the display device that is put in front of it to give any message to the nurses or doctor if at all the patient wants to say something. Apart from that, this device could easily be converted into a stretcher as well as to a wheelchair, and is of a size wherein it can easily transport from one place to another, and doesn't require the patient, the attendant to move patient from one bed to another, and the same bed can be used for almost all the different purposes a hospital bed could be used for. With this, I would say that I would like to conclude that this is what all patent is all about, and the tomorrow's session will be covering a bit more of some case studies from the patent fields, the kind of forms that we use for filing of applications, and apart from that, some more case studies wherein
चल रहा काम
people have copied
ए रवि ने पानी कोने जाने दुनिया के हो जाता बंद करा
wherein people have copied someone else's inventions and are using it for their purpose. So as of now, we can take questions of yours if at all there is any, and post taking those questions, we can conclude this session as of today. Hello, Param.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think we can wind up this session as of now, and then we'll continue with more details about.
Sir, there is a question on the. There are questions on the chat box. If you would
okay.
First one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you repeating questions for me, or shall I see to it?
Okay, wait 1 minute. with the shown Hillroom chair in the presentation, if I have
Right.
an idea to attach one more device to monitor any new specific condition of patients, can
Right.
new invention be patented?
It can be done only, but if at all, what you are proposing is new when being compared with what all is available into any of the references that are there into different places or over the internet, say. So what you are proposing, if it's new when being compared to any existing references or disclosed art, then in that case, you won't be able to get a patent onto it. But yes, if it's entirely new, then yes, you can get a patent onto it.
Sir, what are the basic steps of filing a patent?
For filing of patent, the first important steps will be to come up with some sort of a solution or a layout or a design wherein you could say that yes, this is what you're proposing into any of an existing system, or entirely a new process for manufacturing of something. So what you're coming up, the first thing is to write about it into a bit of a detailed form so that anyone can read it and make an understanding out of it, that what it is all about and how it works. Once you have written it, it requires to be assessed through some expert to make a conclusion that whether or not what you are proposing is new when being compared to what all is already available over the in the published documents. If being proven that what you are proposing is new based on that particular expert's identification, its filing, its application is required to be drafted so that it could be filed with the government office. And once it's being drafted in accordance with what the government office wants, it is being filed with the government office, and post that they take their own time duration to analyze if at all it is new or not. And once being convinced that yes, it is new based on what all you had written into it, they conclude or may let you know that whether or not your application is allowable to be granted as a patent or not.
Sir, there's one more question.
Yeah.
Please tell whether genetic modification in plants can increase to increase production can be patented.
Yes, they can be patented if at all this modification is coming through by some mechanism what you are doing into it, some sort of modifications that on your own in that particular case. If at all those genetic modifications is coming up into it naturally, in those cases you may not be able to get a patent onto it. But yes, if you are doing it something on your own into it, then yes, you will definitely get a patent onto that. And in this, you need to elaborate that how you are able to modify that particular genes of that particular plants. So all those details needs to be required to be shared.
Sir, to whom we should contact?
Whom should you contact? You should contact to a consultant like us,
Okay.
or say directly to Param or the your college management who is taking care of the IPR creations in your college or universities.
Okay, sir. Thank
You
you.
should, you should just write a draft for it, put in all the details that you have. Once being written, just let it known to any of the authority members within your campus, and they can let it reach us or any of the consultant they may be working with, so that they may assess it in order to determine whether or not it is having something new into it or not. And if being find that it has got something unique into it, then definitely it could be taken forward for filing of a patent application.
Sir. Okay.
Hello,
All
sir.
right.
Can you
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
timeline? Can you tell me the timeline of the process of patent granting stage?
So time frame, there are two modes in which these applications are being filed with the government office. One is expedite approach, and another is normal course. In the expedited approach, they take some extra fees, and the entire process gets shortened to something like, say, within a month or two. So the day on which you had filed, if you are ready to expense a bit more, within a 2 months duration, you may be able to get to know whether or not you are allowed to get a grant onto your submitted applications or not. Now, if at all you take a normal approach, in that particular case, it takes roughly a period of 18 months to first get it published, and then thereafter another 1.5 or 2 years for letting it get grant. So under normal approach, time duration is roughly from around 3.5 to 4.5 years or so.
Okay, okay, thank you.
All right, sir.
Thank you very much for attending today's session, everybody. The other questions you all have mentioned in the chat regarding what is the patent timeline and the registration process and what can be patentable and not patentable will all be discussed tomorrow. You need not worry. This is a 5-day session. We'll be taking it slow, and we'll be trying to explain each and every detail with as much information to you all as possible. So please be patient. Allow us to finish the session for 2-3 days, and for 1 or 2 more days before asking more questions. All information regarding patent will be answered tomorrow. All questions that have been here, please reshare them tomorrow, and you will be answered at the end of the session tomorrow. Now I'd like Dr. Vamsi, the lecture today will also be has also been recorded and will be presented on our YouTube channel once the entire FDP session gets over. And thank you very much for attending today's session. The quiz, there will be one assessment / idea this idea form that will be given to you all at the end of the FTP session. That is for later. And now I'd like Dr. Raja to take over for today and continue tomorrow.
Sir, Paramji.
Yes, sir.
Sir, good evening.
Yes, sir.
Actually, so many of our faculty members want to file their patents.
Yes, sir. You need not worry, sir. We will complete it tomorrow. We have kept 2 days for patents. So today was just an introduction to what patents are. And tomorrow we will be discussing in more detail regarding the registration process, how an idea can be converted to a patent, whether a prototype is necessary or not. All those doubts will be cleared tomorrow. What is patentable, what is not patentable will also be covered tomorrow, sir. So you need not worry about that. Today's part was just an introduction to patents, and tomorrow's part will be more on what patents actually are. Thank you. Sandesh, sir, thank you very much for this wonderful session.
All right, thank you. Thank you all.
Yeah, Jaspreet, sir, thank you very much for helping solve the doubts on the chat session.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
Don't mind, can you share the PPTs in the group also so that we can go through it once again?
Ma'am, the entire entire IP Curate and Swarnandra College FDP program will be posted on YouTube for you to re-go over. So you need not worry. You will have all the information.
No, regarding PPT.
I'm afraid that due to company policy, we might not be able to share the presentation with you. But we will be uploading.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, but we will be uploading the video to YouTube, and I'll repeat this once again. All doubts regarding your patents will be solved tomorrow. All information will be given to you. You please be patient with us. This is just the first day of the session. The first session of the first day was just the opening ceremony. So please wait for tomorrow to we will go over patents in thorough. We'll solve all your doubts tomorrow. Thank you very much for the session. Thank you, Sandesh sir, once again. And thank you,
Thank you,
Jaspreet sir.
thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir Sandesh ji,
Yep. Yes, sir.
once again, I would like to thank
Thank you.
sir. Thank you.
Agarwal Sandesh.
Thanks a lot, sir, for giving your time to make a presence onto this platform to understand what IPR is.
Yes. Tomorrow we have to concern about volume, sir. Little bit increase we have our volume.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Yes.
Okay.
All the participants, I would like to thank all the participants also for maintaining good timing for running this session. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. everyone.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I am ending the session now, sir. We
Yes,
will
sir.
meet tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
Ha. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.